And as you all know, President Biden's lack of a filter does get him into hot water sometimes. You know, last month he caused a huge international
McKenna's Way
incident
said in the
saying
chat,
that Vladimir
by the way,
Putin
so
should be
sorry about
removed.
all the gun violence happening in your country. Sending thoughts and prayers from Canada. Region letter U, region letter S, region letter C, region letter A.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you sending your thoughts and prayers
Mr. Pizza said in
from
the chat,
Canada.
I assume you'll react to the stuff in the order they were sent in, correct?
Oh, let me see. I think that the thing is, McKenna, is that let me pull this up. Let me pull this up to make sure that I let's see. Because I found a good source on this as I was using my phone. And I think I found it. Okay, here. So if you look at there was a good thing in this page about stats, which hold on, I can throw that into the chat there so you guys can check this out. But let me see. Okay, here's a really good sentence in here that you guys. Oh, I put the wrong thing. Okay, here's a really good sentence in here that you guys should check out. So, let's see here. So we have, the countries with the highest total gun deaths. We have the United States in second place. We're kind of lagging behind there. But if you look in here, firearm related death rate, you do see, where's the United States? You see it's over here. So we're kind of like in the pack here. Not like number one, and very, very far away from like ones that are like a lot higher, like El Salvador, Venezuela, and Honduras, which are famously capitalistic countries. But one thing that's interesting is this little note here. Let's see here. There are a couple things. So we have here this one section which says gun-related violence occurs all over the world, including to a lesser extent countries in which guns are legal. However, out of the estimated 250,000 and 227 gun-related deaths worldwide in 2019, 65.9% occurred in just 6 countries: Brazil, the United States, Venezuela, Mexico, India, and Colombia. Gun deaths are considered an epidemic in the United States, which leads the world in civilian gun ownership by many people, particularly by many people, particularly those on the left side of the political spectrum. Now, another thing here is, okay, it says here, gangs are much less of an issue in the United States. Yet it's second only to Brazil in the list of total gun deaths. Many people understandably assume the high number of gun deaths in the United States is due to mass shootings, which receive frequent attention from the media. In truth, mass shootings account for only a small percentage of gun deaths in the United States. Rather, 2/3, 63% of gun deaths in the US in 2019 were suicides. So I think that one thing that's important to remember in the case of all these things, and I think that pointing out these stats like this does nothing to give hope to the individuals who, or it doesn't do much to sort of like bring comfort to the people who have died from gun violence. But what it does is I think it should give some comfort to the rest of the country, because the news media does want you to be scared and fearful. They do want you to be like, oh no, this mass shootings are like such an epidemic that happen all the time. There are a fair amount of mass shootings, especially if you count in gang related violence. However, the amount of like people like per year who actually like die of mass shootings in comparison to other causes of death are actually not as much as like other causes of death that you would find. And when it comes to gun violence, so you could frame the thing as like, oh, like mass shootings are bad, we need to tackle those. Okay, fair. But if you're going to take a look at the mass shootings and see like, man, gun violence is through the roof. Well, no, the vast majority of gun violence is actually suicide. So I think that like from the perspective of people who are outside looking in, who are not connected to these shootings, I think that should give us some comfort, because you look at Texas, right? It's been several years since any mass shooting like that has happened in that state. Sit back, think about the last time a mass shooting has occurred, in the same state where you live. Like you guys who are watching here, you guys in the United States, think about the last time there was a mass shooting in the state where you live. Was it a year ago? 2 years ago? Okay, maybe it was. Maybe you guys have live in a state where there was one mass shooting within the past year. Now, maybe think about, okay, how many people died in that incident? So now, should you be afraid in that state to go around and do your thing because there was one mass shooting incident? See, I don't think that these incidents are the cause for alarm and fear that a lot of people in the news media would want you to have, because because let's face it, I think a lot of people, the news media and politicians would love to have a Zack Snyder superhero moment every single day. We're all sitting here huddled, soaking wet from rain and covered from head to toe in mud, and we raise our shawled shoulders and hands up to the sky as we look and see Superman floating down from the heavens like this. I think that a lot of politicians and a lot of people in the media want to. They want us to view them as our saviors when really they're not. I think they would be like, oh, you guys should be so afraid because they're going to be like shooters at every corner. Rely on us, trust on us, vote for us every year, and you'll be fine and you'll be safe. We are your salvation. I don't think that's the case. I think that it's not that hard to find sources of hope. You can put your hope and trust in God. There are also practical things that you can do, such as like arming yourselves, making sure that you're in areas that are fairly and appropriately secure. But I think that there's a lot of people love to jump the gun to either like make people afraid or to push for social change they wanted this whole time, because now that people are emotional, they won't be thinking about it as much, and so maybe they'll let more things slip through the cracks. So that's kind of my commentary on it. That's a more I suppose right-wing American perspective on things, because way. But I hope that also that commentary on the second half of that whole thing was all opinion. Hopefully that does give you a better image of what it actually is like on the ground across the entire country. Basically, TLDR, mass shootings are not these sort of the epidemic on the level that the news and international media would like you to believe. So that's pretty much it. See, if it was as big of an epidemic as they would want you to think, then there would be a new shooting every week that would be covered. But there hasn't been, has there? I don't think so.